Boxing Day obviously saw Manchester United beaten by Wolves in a game where Bruno Fernandes was sent off. Ruben Amorim has discussed the pressure he's under after United's latest loss.
Are you comfortable that you have the time and the space to do the job that you need to do?
The coach, the manager of Manchester United cannot be never, no matter what, comfortable. And I know the business that I'm in. So I know that if we don't win, regardless if they pay the buyout or not, I know that every manager is in danger, and I like that. I like that because that is our job. So I understand the question, and you can say that I'm here in month ahead for trainings, but we are not winning. So I have that. That is a reality, and I'm quite comfortable with that.
Nedum back with us. Nedum, yesterday we talked about the new manager bounce that we often see with teams. Why haven't we seen it here with Manchester United?
I think it's a really good question. I think from before he came in, this was one of their worst starts to a Premier League season ever. And you think, well, the new guys coming in, you had all the euphoria of Van Nistelrooy doing well there in his 2-3 games that he had in charge. So it doesn't really add up to me. I think they've had lots of players available, as we've seen, because one of the talking points about the way he manages is how he rotates the players. You never really know which team's going to put out there, barring probably 3 or 4 players, because he has options. Like, does he start Euro? Does he start De Ligt? You know, is he going to go with Xerxes? Is he going to go with a Højlund? So for them to be in this position whereby they're losing so many games and teams to really believe they can go and get at them, it's not what I expected at all. You know, you saw the change and it felt like they were more solid, but in reality, like, you look at the goals that they concede in here and they're terrible. You know, conceding directly from a corner for the 2nd time this season, being that stretch at the end of a game, you know, you still need to have some sort of structure there. So I'm very, very surprised that the new manager bounce hasn't been there, and it's definitely something that was needed because the guy, it felt like the club were at a low. You know, they needed to get rid of Ten Hag. Maybe they need to get rid of him even, you know, from the end of last season as such. So for him to not be able to hit the ground running yet is a concern. But as he's mentioned himself, and he's the person that's most experienced with understanding this, he's had 4 training sessions with them, he says, and that obviously will matter. There will be something better for them in the future, but the fact that they're lacking this level of competitiveness now, that's a concern, because at the moment, they can talk about the derby win a couple of weeks ago, but to lose 3 games on the spin from then, with a tough run up ahead now, it's not the position that many of them probably thought they'd be in.
Yeah, you mentioned that tough run up ahead, Stevie. Just a reminder of the upcoming schedule for Manchester United. They've got Newcastle at home, then they're at Anfield to play Liverpool, and then in the FA Cup they are away to Arsenal. That pressure's not going to ease anymore in these 3 games.
No, absolutely not. I kind of feel for Amorim a little bit, to be honest. The fact that he's only had 4 training sessions, I guess you can see that on the field. I would suggest that in this first window, he needs to get some players in, because what he's got at his disposal is not good enough. I don't care how good a coach you are. Your players aren't good enough. You can have as many coaching sessions as you want, but when they get on the field and they're left to their own devices and you can't go around helping them, then you see what you get. So they need to sign a couple of good players in this window. They need to sign more in the summer window, and then they'll need to sign more in the following window, because the playing staff is not good enough in order to compete for the Premier League title.
That's such a good question. And I think it depends what his personality is like within that space anyway. But I think, for me, the value of a captaincy is huge, because this is somebody who's going to lead by example. This is somebody who's going to be one of your top performers. This is somebody who's going to be available regularly and somebody who can be a difference maker. But at the moment, you know, you look through this season, he's costing them. You know, that's a big moment in that game for a side who are already in a bad run of form. You need Fernandes out there. You need him to be linking up the play, to understand what the manager wants, to understand how to put that onto the field, to encourage his teammates, you know, bring out the best in them. And I think some people say, oh, it's like a nothing tackle and so on. Well, if it's a nothing tackle, don't make it. You know, it's the start of the second half. You're away from home. You're on a yellow card. Do you need to make that tackle? Absolutely not. And I think for him, obviously, the one against Spurs, the red card against Spurs, was rescinded, and he's okay with that. But he should be doing better. If they're going to do well, he needs to be out there on the field. He can try and set the tone for them, and he can make a big difference. But for now, as I say, if I was in that team, I'd be looking and thinking, well, why is this the case? And what he's saying after the game, is he apologising again? Well, he should be doing better. And I think for Amorim, even though he's probably got a good relationship with him as such, I think he needs to address the fact that these things cannot happen. The margins are so small already for them if they want to finish this season successfully. And to have your captain missing for any amount of time whatsoever in a self-inflicted manner like that is beyond disappointing. And in some ways, you'd probably argue it's unacceptable.
Yeah, and obviously you guys have talked about this on yesterday's show, but can it be that a player just doesn't have the right temperament to be the captain of the team?
100%.
No matter how hard they try, it's just that side of their game,
Yeah,
that side of their mentality isn't right.
It's not... It doesn't come naturally to him. And the fact he's been sent off 3 times this season tells you it doesn't come naturally. You can't have your captain getting sent off more times than he scored goals for a start. So, again, deja vu, I kind of feel a little bit for Amorim. Because after Bruno Fernandes, who are we looking at as a captain? There's nothing. Zero. Anybody who may fall into that sort of category, Maguire, for example, but they're not on the field. So, Amorim doesn't have a choice. Bruno's going to have to be his captain, and if Bruno continues to get sent off, I don't see how we can change it either. So, yeah, Bruno shouldn't be the captain. Certainly the way he's performing, well, when he's on the field, but Amorim, unfortunately, has no other choice.